and Mare explains that he can do a myriad of things. She doesn't know exactly when the Red Magic Tower Master will retire, but she's quite certain he would gladly take him on as his successor. Eugene says that he doesn't want to be a Magic Tower Master, as the job seems to be quite dull. Mare notes that another option is joining the Palace Mage troops, as the captain, Tremple, seems to want to recruit him. Eugene says that he acts way too friendly, which he doesn't like at all. Mare notes that the prince has also taken a liking to him, and if he would be able to work with him in any way, he would be able to boast and brag about it for decades to come. Eugene says that he does appreciate that he likes him quite a bit, but he doesn't feel like doing any of that. Mare is quite puzzled at this point, as he can't become a patriarch in the first place. So why does he want to go back to the Lionheart so much? Eugene asks if he really needs a big or grand reason to go home, and Mare explains that what he has accomplished these past few years is extremely impressive, even in her eyes. In just the half year that he has started to write his thesis, he has managed to simplify complicated and elaborate magic theories, while also improving his own magic during the whole process. Eugene explains that this thesis is just for his own satisfaction, as he is the only one who can use it in the first place. He's just writing it down because he likes his things organized, and he's not going to reveal it to the academic association anyways. No mage would be able to use the circle flame method in the first place. He thinks of the time when Roberian told him that not taking magic and understanding into account is physically, at least, impossible. He doesn't use a normal circle magic method for his magic, and his substitute is the white flame metho stars with the circle. But that won't mean that the main family's white flame method users can replicate it. He also tried it according to his thesis, but he was stuck from the very beginning, as he has never made a core or learned the white flame method. He tried to substitute it with his circle, but his mana ended up flowing in reverse instead. Eugene had become a white flame method 4-star, and successfully added Eternal Hole to the circle. He made a ring using 4 stars, and constantly exploded the mana within, just like Hamel did in his past life. The rotating ring of fire ensures that the mana doesn't flow outside of the circle. That is the circle flame method he made. Eugene planned to attempt all of this once he became a 5-star. But having looked upon witchcraft, he changed his mind instantly. He spent a very considerable amount of time on the 6th floor, the Hall of Space, and on the 8th floor, the Hall of Intense Heat. The Hall of Intense Heat had magic from the world's most powerful and renowned flame mages, and he needed to learn space magic in order to properly utilize the Cape of Darkness to the best of its abilities. Roberian took Eugene as his direct pupil and helped revise his thesis. He also helped Eugene fix some basic circle magic spells to work with his circle flame method. All of this time, he has spent half of his time in Acreon, and the other half learning magic from Roberian. If there is an adjective that would fit these 2 years he spent in Aeroth, it would be rigorous. Eugene asks Mare if she's mad at him for saying that he will leave, even though she clearly doesn't want him to. Mare explains that she is not mad at all, as she has no right to stop him from leaving in the first place, so he can go if he wants to go. She's never had the desire to go somewhere, but even if she would really want to, she couldn't in the first place. So he should leave, and leave her all alone, here, in this boring, quiet, and very lonely place. She is not sad in the slightest about saying goodbye, after they spend all of these years together. She's not a living human, and she knows all too well that humans do whatever they want to. Eugene wonders if it's so while putting his thesis away, and she notes that it is, as she has lived a much longer time than him, and is used to goodbyes. However, he should at least tell her before he leaves, instead of leaving her all alone without saying a thing, like Senya did. Eugene responds with a simple, "all right," which causes her to be angry, as she has poured her heart out to him. But he is still too calm. He's just a sack of crap. Eugene asks how he is so, and she explains that it's because it's what she thinks, and the how is not important. He is just a sack of crap, and that's that. Actually, she really hates him, as he's just a kid, but hold no respect for his elders. Is it really that hard to listen to an adult every now and then? She stops for a second and says that if he were to stay in Aroth because of her, she would feel quite baffled, as her personality is based on a younger Senya, so her emotions and behavior can be childish sometimes. So sometimes, she says childish things, and she's quite stubborn. She's very aware of this fact. She also is feeling quite stupid for telling him this, as she knows Senya wouldn't act like this, and it feels like she's insulting her with this outrageous behavior. Eugene smiles and says that the real Senya would have acted just like her, or at least he thinks so. Mare notes that there is no chance she would actually act like this, and he wouldn't know, since he never met her. Eugene says that he's certain she would act like this, and Mare wants to know how, just because of what he read in the picture book, that is written by someone else with a big imagination, and the Senya she knew would never do something like this. Eugene explains that his thesis will be completed soon, and if he's not too greedy about it, it will most likely be finished before summer ends. Mare asks why he told her this, and he says that he will visit her before he leaves, and will tell her something important then. Mare asks if she's going to make fun of her, as she wouldn't suggest that. She will really kill him. Eugene smiles, and notes that she will know once the time for that comes. While leaving, he meets with Tremple, and his face immediately drops into an annoyed expression. He asks what he wants now, while thinking that since he's the palace mage captain, it's obvious what he's going to talk about. Tremple notes that the position that they talked about previously that is empty in the palace mage troop is still empty, so if he changes his mind in the meantime, he knows who to talk to. Eugene thanks him for the offer, but doesn't really want to. Tremple also notes that, if he would like, he could help by checking his dissertation. He is very aware that his mentor is Roberian, and already proofreading it. But doesn't he specialize in summoning magic anyways? He is also good with summoning magic, but also great with the combat variant. He is not a palace mage troop captain for not reason after all. Eugene says that even if it's so, he still doesn't know what he's writing about in the first place. Tremple thinks that it's because he only shows it to Roberian and keeps it extremely well hidden, while saying that he could get to know, since he's accustomed to teaching others as much as the magic tower magic themselves. Eugene thanks him for the proposition, but if he were to accept right now, it would be seen as offensive to Roberian. Tremple notes that it can indeed be seen in that light, so how about they keep it a secret? Eugene turns his back and excuses himself, leaving Tremple to sigh. While leaving, Eugene thinks that if this guy ever found out about the eternal hole, he would have crawled into his bed at night. The circle flame method isn't all too different to the white flame method, up until the magic is cast, that is. Even a great mage like Tremple wouldn't really be able to notice the difference just by having a look at it. Being able to hide one's abilities from high-ranking mages comes with its merits, it seems. While training, Roberian explains that, disregarding what magic spells he can cast, if they just consider the sheer force he is putting into them, he is past the 5th circle already. Eugene notes that 4th circle is his current limit, as more advanced magic than that wouldn't be able to hold itself in the eternal hole. Is his understanding perhaps not good enough? Roberian thinks that it's probably not that, and it's most likely that the hole reached its content limit. He hasn't recreated the eternal hole with the circle flame method perfectly just yet. He is substituting his circle with his core, 4 white flame method stars, and 4 cores, to be exact. It's more accurate to see it as the number of cores being the same as the number of circles. With each advancement that his white flame method goes through, his circle flame method also gets stronger, but he should exercise caution, as the circle flame method right now doesn't have any disadvantages. The risk might be gathering itself each time he levels up, since this is a magic method that nobody has heard of ever before. Additionally, he has already told him this piece of information many times, but he shouldn't use advanced circle magic ever. Unlike the regular circle magic method, the circle flame method will allow him to use high-level circle magic, and he will be able to use magic up to 5th circle quite easily. But he should never attempt to use 6th circle magic, as they don't know what dangers using magic one can't organically use might be. Eugene says that he understands, and Roberian notes that he probably won't return to the Lionhearts immediately after finishing his thesis, right? Is there somewhere he plans to go specifically? Eugene notes that he will go to the Luhar Kingdom, since he wanted to eat their infamous ice crab since he was a little kid. The real reason he is going there is because it's the nation that dumb bastard moron established somehow. Roberian notes that there are ice crab restaurants here in Arath as well, but Eugene excuses this by saying he wants to eat directly from the source. After enjoying some ice crabs in Luhar, he will go to Nahama, as he heard that the cactus scorpion is great there. Putting that horrifying creature aside, the reason he is going there is because 200 years ago, Anis, who had been praised and revered as a saintess in the Holy Empire, Eurus, left on a pilgrimage without telling the emperor the purpose of it. The last place she was ever seen was in the middle of the Nahama desert. Roberian didn't see him as such a foodie, but if he likes crustaceans this much, they should have lobster for today's meal. They go to a lobster restaurant, where Eugene thinks that he didn't expect to meet Honame, Aroth's prince, here. He apologizes for intruding on a meal between teacher and pupil, but he will get to the main topic now. He tells Eugene that if he stays in Aroth, he will promise him the position of captain of the palace mage troop. He swears this on his family name. Eugene notes that right now, something like that would be difficult for him to do, right? Honame notes that in 10 years, he will become the king of Aroth. His words surprise Robarian, who notes that something like that is quite dangerous to say, as the current king is very healthy.